welcome to SPOTCast.
I'm David.
I'm Audrie.
Alright, today what we're going to do is we're going to dive deep into this important question. Do you think that once your HDB MOP, right, it's actually wise to sell off actually just to wait and hold?
I think this is a question on a lot of people's mind.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, but before we start, okay, if you like our video so far, do help us by following and subscribe to our YouTube channel, SPOTCastSG.
Yes.
And of course, our
Telegram.
Yes, our Telegram, that's where we do a lot of other discussion and weekly or daily insights of property market and things that can never be discussed on socials and YouTube. Okay.
Just feel free to post us any questions there.
Yes, and of course not forgetting to like and follow our socials. Okay, which is TikTok, IG,
and Facebook.
Yes. All right. So let's go into this question. Today, my HDB MOP.
I think this is a very a question that will be on a lot of people's mind when it reaches MOP, especially POs.
Yes. So based on this, actually normally I'll have three personas. Okay, the first one is, let's take it that she's actually Jane and Jerry.
Okay.
Okay, Jane and Jerry, right? They are in their 30s. Okay, they have a kid that is going to primary school.
All right.
Okay, income is quite okay, about 8,000 to 14,000 a month. Okay, we put it 8,000 a month. Household income,
okay.
8,000 a month. All right, she is currently staying in a 3-room flat.
All right.
Okay, but when they were thinking of selling, right, they have this, my kid is going to primary school. I want to stay put so that my kids have a very nice environment to grow up, and then carry on from there.
I think this is a question on a lot of parents' mind also.
Yes.
If I were to shift, then what about school? Will my child get adapted to the new school? Because a lot of parents, right, we want to, I think they don't want to keep changing environment for the children or anything like that lah. They are afraid that kids are not able to adapt.
But actually, seriously, if you ask me, right, okay, today if you put your child as the excuse to shift and move house, right, I think it's very unfair for the child.
Yes.
Because what is the responsibility being put on them? Yeah. In fact, if you are looking to move, right, okay, I would think that if you are staying in a 3-room flat and your income is quite strong, but then if you do not have enough to move into private, actually there's no need to move into private. But it's wise to actually, because when you take BTO, you got a grant.
Yeah, you'll be getting a first-time grant.
Yeah, the grant, we put on average about 100K. All right. Then you have your MOP profit, which is by norm about 200,000. So in fact, you have 300,000 given to you by your first house.
Yes.
And many of us are actually scared to move.
Yeah, comfort zone ma.
Comfort zone. So let's take it like this way. A lot of people say, hey, but I shift already, right? For example, if my 3-room, right, is now worth 550,000 and a shift to a 4-room is 680,000 to 750,000. Doesn't make sense.
I think in the short term, you may think that it doesn't make sense because I'm increasing my mortgage.
Yeah.
Yeah, then I have to fork out more every month.
Yes.
Yes. Then why does it make sense?
In fact, if you do correct numbers, right, okay, you don't want to keep the spare cash, your sales proceed, right, you put it back into your next house as an upgrade to HDB, right, I think there's no changes in your mortgage.
Yeah, because the sales proceed will be like a bonus,
300K.
Yeah. So it's if you sell your house, you get this bonus. But if you don't sell your house,
the bonus is there.
It's
on paper.
stuck there. Yes.
But then eventually the bonus will drop. Because property prices, right? Yes, in Singapore so far property prices has been increasing. But seriously, is it really that fast and high, right? If you hold on to a property for more than 10 or 15 years?
Yes, because we also have to look into lease decaying.
So eventually when you look at lease decay, right, okay, for example, you stay for 20 years, and your child is old and big enough, then you say, okay, I don't want this house already, I'm going to change to a smaller one. And from a 3-room flat, you want to go to a smaller one, how small can you go into? 2-room?
2-room, a lot of people will say, no, I think it's too small. You'll be very claustrophobic.
Yeah.
For a lot of people.
Yeah, and then end up no changes. And what happened is, yes, you build your CPF, you build your retirement fund, but is it enough? Because today, you put it into context of this. Today, I have a HDB at 550,000.
Yep.
Okay, I change and sell off. I go into a 4-room or 5-room at 700 or 850,000.
Right.
All right, if I finish paying off this 5-room, right, I actually got this 850,000 net worth. And with this net worth, eventually when I want to retire, if let's say we put 20 years later, lease decay, whatever, right, your 850 remains at 850.
Yeah, it never, let's say it never changed.
Never changed. Yeah. Okay, but then you have this 850,000 and then you can actually sell it off and go into something that is smaller and then cash out that funds for retirement. And like time we were actually doing this test with most of our clients.
Yeah.
Okay, how much do you need a month to retire?
Yes.
Okay, so when we ask this question, a lot will say, I don't know, like Singapore
In fact,
can
a lot
retire,
of
man.
people, the first reaction was shocked.
Yeah, never
Because
think so far.
That was something that was never in the mind.
Hmm.
It was all okay. Let's base on present.
Yes.
Whatever I have my salary. I probably save a little bit and then spend the rest. What's the commitments like and everything.
Yeah.
But upon retirement, that's what when we ask that question, then a lot of people give us a shock face like, oh, I never thought about that before.
Because number one in Singaporeans' mind is, can I retire? You know, because cost of living is definitely high. Okay, and then we are actually chasing quite a number of things.
Yeah.
Okay, cars, holidays, children's education, and so on and so forth. Okay, so
correct.
eventually, serious, if you're asking me, right, by the age of 65, would I want to retire? My answer is probably not. But I would want to, tone down a little bit.
Not into a full retirement mode lah, I would say, because ultimately most of us have been working for the longest time. Maybe after graduate and then till retirement.
45 years lah.
Yeah.
25 to 65
to 40 years lah.
40 years.
40 years.
Okay, so 40 years,
Yeah.
after working for 40 years, right, don't you think it's nice to actually tone down a bit? And the only way to tone down, right, is if you have enough savings for your rainy days.
Correct.
Yeah, and this could be done easily if you actually do a simple thing. I would say the moment you have a 3-room flat, right, upon MOP, right, you just chill, throw it one side, sell it off, and move to a 4 or 5-room flat. Yes, of course, then you'll say, I don't need such a big space. It's not really for the big space, but it's really for the wealth accumulation.
Yes. When we talk about wealth accumulation towards early retirement, that's our water concept. We are always talking about not necessarily having to go into a private property or even a landed property or anything like that, but within the means, within what you can, go to something as big as possible.
Yes. Okay. Ideally, of course, for every Singaporean, right, we know that property is actually the best investment tool.
Yeah, I mean, for people, like for example, for me, right, I am somebody who don't like to take that kind of risk of, buying stocks, keeping track. I'm too lazy to do that.
Yeah.
So, I think for me, a property will be the best thing for investment in a way.
Yes. You know what happened? Okay, when you are doing a financial investment, right, like myself, I got this problem. I will do it in the sense that, the moment I see the price increase, right, I want to sell it off. Or if the price drop, right, I go into panic mode and also want to sell it off. Okay, so
because the risk appetite not so great, okay I don't mind even lose that kind of thing. But if we are not able to, then and we don't want to take that kind of risk.
It's not only that, it's really because of an investor mindset. Today, if I see something drop, right, I'll have this fear. Or I see something increase, I'll have this greed. So I'll make a very hasty decision to sell. But when you're buying a property, right, this actually stops you because of the 4 years or 5 years MOP.
Yeah.
That means I cannot sell. Price increase, I cannot sell. Price drop, I cannot. I got to hold it.
Watch on.
Yeah. But then with these 5 years, right, normally you will see a good increment.
Correct.
In property price. I used to say when the time is up, right? For example, 4 years SSD, 5 years MOP, you normally see a good profit.
Yeah, and it's also a property is not something that you can sell literally overnight or within a few hours. You can cash out and
Yes.
like stocks.
Yes, and I would like to put it in a manner that when you're buying stocks and buying property, right, it's the same. Today you want to hold a stock for a very long time, unless the company is very stable. Okay, for example, Nvidia.
Okay.
Okay, for example, Singtel.
Alright.
Okay, but then if you're buying something like, for example, we have this Xpeng today and Neo. Okay, you see the price fluctuate up and down because the company is not stable. Okay, but then if you're buying something that is very stable over long term, the growth might not be so great, but it's stable. Okay, likewise in property, we treat it as a company. You realize that once a property grows old, right? Okay, likely the price will drop because why? It does not hold its workforce as well. Just like a company.
Okay.
Company 过不了3代嘛.
Yeah.
Okay, property I would say, okay, we treat it as today you put it on this context, right? If I hold for too long, right, I will not be able to have so much profit as per initially. Yeah, so it's always wise if you can move. Okay, because in Singaporeans context, the best investment tool is definitely a landed. Okay, if you can afford a landed,
because
go
land
into a
is
landed.
really scarce.
Yes.
Yeah.
If not, then it's always a private. And private, you got to be very, very careful because you don't want to buy something which, on paper increase a lot, but when I want to sell, cannot sell.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, so this is very
difficult to
important.
sell lah.
Mm.
Yeah, not cannot sell, but
Difficult to sell. Like, you don't want to, you don't want to waste time. You know, take 1 year to sell off one property or 2 years to sell off one property just to find the correct buyer. Okay, so if you're in HDB, if you're in a 3-room and you think, okay, private is really a bit too far-fetched at this point of time, upgrade to a 4-room or 5-room. Okay, if you're in 5-room, upgrade to a EM. Okay, EM right now might not be so good because of the lease decay.
Yes, because most EM or EA are around 30 over years, 40 years, 40 over years already.
Correct. But if you are looking for something for retirement, right, and you want more space, I think that is also a good move.
Yeah, I mean, but that's provided you have a helper to help you. I clean my house also. I cannot take it anymore.
Yes. Okay, last but not least, okay, today if you are in a 5-room flat already, the next move is actually, a good move is actually EC if you cannot afford a private straight. But today you want to afford EC also not simple.
Yeah, because of MSR.
Yeah, a lot of cash outlay. Okay, I do say when you put in more cash is good because the put in more cash, less loan ma.
Yeah.
But then the important thing is you must have the cash.
Correct. Yeah, so upon MOP, if you are in a very good location, you might be able to cash out for a very good profit.
Yes. It's always the emotional. Okay, logically, I know I must cash out and upgrade. But emotionally, I always tell myself, no, I can't because, you know, of my child. And because this place is so convenient, where can I find a more convenient place?
Yeah, or because, this is my first house, it has got memories.
Yeah. When you have this thought, right, I would say it's more to 跟钱过意不去.
We would say when you're looking at it, if you're looking at it from an investment point of view, then do not get too emotional about it. Yes. Of course, moving is not that easy always. We might think that we may not have a lot of things at home, but you know, when you start packing, it becomes a different thing. But at the same time, for that investment, for the retirement plans, it's really worth it.
You have to move.
Yes.
Okay. If you are interested to know how we actually move our clients from HDB 3-room to 4-room or 3-room to 5-room, or even 4-room or 5-room to private ECs, and from HDB to even a landed eventually, okay, just do drop us a text and then we'll do a consult with you.
Yes.
Okay, the second personas I want to talk about is this. Okay, we give them a name again, George and Georgine. Alright, they have pretty good income. Okay, in their 30s also. Okay, income is about 16 to 18,000.
Okay.
Alright, it fluctuates a bit because of bonus.
Bonuses.
Okay, so they are in a dilemma. Their first house is a HDB. In fact, they take 5 years ago. Okay, they collect the keys 5 years ago. Now MOP in a very good location in Bidadari.
Okay.
Okay, a 4-room flat which is worth well above 900,000 now.
No, I think recently it was 1.3.
1.3, huh? Okay, so 1.3 now. Okay, so they wanted to sell. They know that they want to upgrade to a private property.
Yeah.
But then they don't think it is the right time. So they decided to wait.
Okay.
And they cannot find a good reason to move. Okay, so this one we will go into, again, our favorite. Okay, why does the best investment time, the best time to buy is actually yesterday?
Yes. It's always yesterday.
Yeah, and the next best time is today. Okay, why? Because number one, you must understand the demographics of Singapore. Okay, Singaporeans are getting wealthier and wealthier. Their income is getting higher and higher.
Correct.
Okay, of course, cost of living and whatever might have offset, but then you know their income is actually getting higher. I used to say they can afford more.
Yes, and even the younger generation, their starting pay are getting higher.
Yes. Okay, so then that's number one. So with more income, I used to say people are well able to afford something that's more expensive. A lot of them are actually jumping to privates at this point of time because of one reason. They know that private or landed, right, will definitely have capital gain.
Yeah, good value.
Or better appreciation. Okay, then the other thing is, you must understand that in Singapore property market, will the price actually drop?
Yeah, that's what we talked about in our previous video. Yeah, so about populations and things like that.
Yes. Well, we go in again now, okay? The population has ever increasing. Alright, 6.04 in 2024, 6.11 in 2025. Our ultimate target is 6.5 conservatively to 6.9. Alright, so if you look at the past year, right, there's a big increase in Singaporeans and PRs.
Yeah.
Okay, if I'm not wrong, 24,000 and 35,000.
With a total of close to 58,000.
Yes, total close to 58,000. And these are the people that's coming in yearly as citizens and PRs.
Yes.
And home ownership has not dropped. It's still at 90.8%.
Yes.
I had to say what? Increase in population, home ownership does not drop, means what? They are all buying.
Yeah, correct.
Yeah, and government is building house based on needs and not speculation. It's not like other countries. They build in massive supply.
Yeah.
Then it's for people who invest. Then you see people owning 2-3 houses and so on and so forth. But in Singapore, it's not easy.
I think a long time ago, HDB was like that, right? They actually built first.
Then ask you
and
to
then
choose.
You go and choose.
That's because they want people from a village to move into HDBs.
Yeah.
Okay, but at this point of time, right, government is building to cater to the needs of Singaporeans and PRs. Okay, so I used to say there's no surplus. That's why you see all the launches, right, being stepped up.
Yeah.
BTO, every ballot, right,
Oversubscribed.
is oversubscribed 3 to 4 times.
Yes.
Yeah, in fact, I was shocked. In Woodlands, I was told by my client that it's 5 times oversubscribed. I don't know how true it is. But she was trying to get a house for the longest time, BTO. Yeah, 5 times oversubscribed in Woodlands,
Because Woodlands is another place that is undergoing a lot of changes also.
Yeah, correct. So, you see, as of now, do you think property price will drop? In fact, if it's based on supply and demand, right? When demand is always high, supply is not there, right? The price will always increase.
Yeah, I mean, simple economics again.
And in fact, while government announced more land to be sold next year, right? In fact, there's less supply, because it's 5,000 over units versus 4,000 over units available now. So there's actually a shortage. So what happened is, again, we're going to see a good take-up rate for launches.
Correct.
Yeah. Also, this is the thing of whether you should sell now or wait. Or buy now or wait. Okay, especially for George and Georgie. George and Georgine. Okay. The idea is if your income is good, you are staying in a good location, HDB, BTO, and if you are thinking of whether to sell or not sell, or to wait for price to come down first before you buy, my suggestion to you is don't wait. In fact, this is now the best time to take action.
Yes, if you're still confused, I think it's good to talk to professionals.
Professionals like us, David and Audrie, okay, we provide roadmap, customized roadmap for you, because when you're buying a property, right, it's not only on water concept. Today, water concept is just telling you why you should invest. In fact, what we are doing now is telling you why you should buy.
And all.
Yeah. But then you have to sit down with us to go through a clear framework. This is a framework, this 5-step framework is actually what we use to help our client plan their roadmap nicely.
Correct. This will give you a very, very logical, I would say, information.
Yes. We want to buy without emotion. Today, when you're buying something, right, it's best to go in with logics and not emotion. And this clear framework give you all the numbers that you need, all the goals and your evaluation that you need, right, to go and buy a property. So it makes you very clear. So today, when you go into any show flat, go into buy any private property, right, it's only based on one thing. I have a clear roadmap.
Yes.
I know my plan. And I know exactly what you need and what price that I can afford and pay, and not going to FOMO mode.
Yeah, you won't go in and see like, wow, everybody queuing up, then you want to queue up also and buy something from there.
All right.
Yeah.
So, all right, the last personas that I can think of, Adrian and Adeline.
Okay.
Okay, Adrian and Adeline. All right. Same thing. Have a 4-room flat, BTO, pretty good location, not that fantastic, somewhere in Punggol.
Okay.
All right. High income earner, about 14,000 a month.
All right.
14,000 a month each.
Each.
All right.
Wow, that's very hard.
They
That's quite
are
high.
not looking to sell their HDB.
Okay.
But in
What's
fact-
the reason?
Because they want to splurge in cars,
Okay, I understand.
holidays.
Okay, so they will be the ones who stay in the HDB flat and then have probably a Rolls Royce or Maserati.
Something like that. Okay. And then but what happened is they do not have much savings
All right.
because of their lifestyle.
Mm.
Okay, so they were thinking of upgrading like the rest, but then they do not have a means to do so, because if not, they will be giving up their lifestyle. Okay, so today, what I would say is, today if you are splurging a lot on a car, I really ask you to do a check. For example, Audrey, if you want to buy a car, do you really need a car?
For me personally, right, because a car depreciates.
Over 10 years.
Yeah, but I personally think that Singapore's transport is quite okay. If not for our line of work, right?
Then we
if
need to
I'm
fly
just-
everywhere lah.
Yeah, we need to be in places within, a certain time range and all these things. Otherwise, I would think that I'm fine without a car.
Yeah, even if you need a ride, right? Probably, Get Go, when my car went for servicing, right?
Yeah.
Get Go service is not that bad.
Get Go was quite good actually. Yes.
The Grab drivers really got to improve their driving skill a bit. Not all. Okay, but the way they step on the accelerator sometimes is really causing me. Okay, well, if you like to drive,
because being drivers ourselves, right? When we have to sit at the back seat, the passenger seat, and
you feel very giddy,
we actually feel the bumpiness and everything.
You got to really think that, do you really need this kind of car in your?
Do you really need a car?
Do you really need a car that is to be parked in your car park and you never drive it to work? Okay, because the money spent here could be thrown into your monthly installment for your mortgage. Okay, and then why is it so? Because when you're buying a car, it's a full depreciation. 10 years is zero.
And then you have to pay for petrol, you have to pay for taxes, insurance, and things like that.
Okay, so what is more needed is actually investment tool that give you positive yield at the end of 10 years. Okay, so what we actually advise for Adrian and Adeline is, try to bit of buffer to your extravagant lifestyle. Don't spend so much.
Be a little bit more prudent.
Be a little bit more prudent. Okay, because you want to go compare, Europe trip. Seriously, we just came back from a Vienna trip. It's nice.
We just came back from Munich, Salzburg, and Vienna.
Yes, it's nice, but then it's not a must-have because whatever they have in there, we have it in Singapore. It's just to go there, enjoy the scenery, enjoy the views, and say, oh wow, Singapore is still nice. Okay, so I mean, yes, this kind of lifestyle I think is nice, but then it really depends on whether you really want to have it. Yeah. So what is more important is probably a retirement tool that doesn't eat too much into your lifestyle, and yet you still can enjoy lah.
I would think prioritize.
Yeah, that's the right word.
Is very important. You can earn a lot of money, and if you don't prioritize things,
you'll be zero lah.
It will be really no savings law.
Yes.
And then ultimately upon retirement, you still find there's nothing.
Yeah. So the best thing is, when you buy a property, right, it forces you to save.
Yes.
No choice, I got to pay my mortgage.
You have to pay your money mortgage.
Yeah, so it forces you to save, but well within affordability lah. You don't go and because your TDSR can push into a 8K per month installment, and then your income is only 20,000 or less, or 15,000. Then you throw 8,000, you left with 7,000 to spend. I think that one cannot. Okay, so it's always prudency, and again that comes in with our clear framework, because we show you exactly what is the affordability and what kind of property that you should go into, and what mortgage will make it very, very comfortable for you.
Yes, and after going into a clear framework, that's not all. When you decided on buying a property, then of course we'll have to analyze the properties.
Yes,
not all properties.
Goodbye. Yes. Okay, so the easy way to buy a property is always this. Okay, I just walk into a show flat. I see the unit I like, I just put in an offer and buy it.
Yep.
Okay, but the difficult part is always the exit.
Yes.
Can I sell or not? Eventually, when I want to sell, right? Can sell, but how long do I want to find the right buyer for my property?
Correct, and that's where our lags
come in.
Yes. Yeah. We look at the location. We really analyze the location.
Yes.
We look at the entry prices.
Yes.
And what about the exit strategy?
Yes.
Whether it will be easy for you to next time to do an exit or not.
Exactly. So what we do is this, in our entry price, we actually look at 3 other methods to analyze the entry price, whether it's actually correct or not. Okay, then when we go into our exit location, okay, we again use two tools to help us go into our location analysis. And last but not least, when we are doing exit, right, this is the most tedious. In fact, we have more than 5 tools to analyze whether this property is exitable.
Yeah. But then next time you put it out for sale, got people buy from you or not.
Yes. So that goes into, your site plan analysis, your unit stack analysis, your project analysis, surrounding neighbors, properties analysis, and then even the list reset, and then the catalyst boost and things like that. So there's a lot of tools that we use to do it. So while you see LEX method is simple.
Yeah, just 3 words, 3 letters.
Yeah, so you see every agent also tell you, location, exit, entry, very important.
Yeah, but then what's in depth?
All right. So far, what we have been doing is we've been helping our client plan a very good retirement roadmap. Okay, with a clear framework to give you great clarity in your purchase, so that you can actually have a roadmap that allows you to behave like a seasoned investors.
Yes.
Okay. If you have any more questions, just feel free to actually ask us in the
Either comment below
Okay,
or just join our Telegram.
Yes, Telegram. Or in fact, you can WhatsApp us as well.
Yeah.
Okay,
any form of communication is fine with us.
Yes, and then for the next topic, well, we would like to hear from you. Whatever you want us to discuss, feel free to text us.
Yes.
Okay, see you again. This
See
is
you.
SPOTCastSG. David and Audrie saying bye.